Hello and welcome to the show. In recent years, Toyota have had much desire to win at Le Mans. However, they have been thwarted at just about every turn. Between Porsche and Audi and their own terribly bad luck, things have not gone their way. This year, well, hoping for no unreliability issues, looks like they stand a pretty good chance, all things considered, as there is no other major manufacturer vying in LMP1. However, we're going to find out how the Toyota does around our own snowy Nurburgring, because the current leader, well, that's the Porsche. The 919 sits at the top of the table with an 8-minute .0. Can the Toyota go faster than that? Of course, it does stand a pretty good chance. It is a very similar car to the Porsche, and well, the Porsche was bloody fast. You've got similar amounts of power, all-wheel drive, although I'm going to presume that the all-wheel drive is going to work in the same way, so it's going to be you press the hybrid button for all-wheel drive, and for the rest of the time the car's going to be rear-wheel drive. Now, normal circuit, that probably won't matter too much, but on snow at the Nürburgring, that's quite important. So we're going to have to be careful with the way that we deploy the hybrid power, because not only do we have to regenerate it under braking, which we can't do as viciously because we're on snow. You kind of brake for longer, but nowhere near as hard. You also have a limited amount of use. Again, around a normal circuit, that won't matter, but around a very long lap, like the Nürburgring, we'll probably run out towards the end of the lap. And I'm going to want to save the hybrid for the big acceleration zones. Oh, and to add on, of course, to all of this, not only do I have to think about hybrid and trying to go around this circuit as fast as possible, and the robot arm that is apparently a windscreen wiper, you know, let's not even think. I've got one lap. We've got one lap to try and do this as quickly as possible. I am not sure, but we're going to give it a damn good go. Here we go, Toyota. An 8-minute. We're trying to go sub 8 minute. Basically, if it wants to go to the top of the table, it has to go sub 8 minute. There's only 14 hundredths of a second separating the Porsche and a sub 8 minute time. Oh, okay. I'm not sure the hybrid in this works in the same way. If it does, this does not have... Well, that's a concern. I thought I'd give it a quick test down there by sticking my foot down, and if it is all-wheel drive, it sure as hell doesn't feel like it, even with the hybrid power on. Okay, that will be a problem for the Toyota. Where on earth can I try this safely? That was moving around. I was expecting to be able to push the button and mash the pedal, and we would be good to go. We couldn't. And that is going to be a potential issue for the Toyota here. Can we do another bit of a test here? No. It doesn't really feel very secure. I mean, we have got up to 160 there on the old acceleration front. Now, that's burnt through a fair bit. Although it's going to take us a good few corners, because we're not really going to have any braking. Well, not for a little while at least. I'm potentially not going to want to use it down here. Okay, I'm not comfortable with this, not like I was with the Porsche. I mean, we could be flat here, of course, but I'm not comfortable with this car in terms of that hybrid power delivery. That does not feel all-wheel drive. It doesn't feel safe all-wheel drive to me. So if I was to, for example, try and use it out of here, we can have a little go on the old boost. Oh, no, it still wheel spins. It still wiggles around sideways. It just actually is just dumping more power out of the back of the car. Or maybe it's dumping some, but the vast majority is going to the rear of the car, which is not particularly what I want. I might have to rethink my use of hybrid strategy and use it on the straight. Okay, we're going to kind of play the complete opposite to what we did with the Porsche. The Porsche, it was all about you conserve the hybrid and use it out of the hairpins as well as you can. This, we're going to have to wait and use it all in one go down any straights we come to. Because if we do it at low speeds, I really run the risk of spinning. I mean, we're learning. There's a lot to think about with these bloody LMP cars. The Evo Time Attack car, much easier. In fact, the Bentley, the LMP 900, that was much easier. You had what you had, and that was actually very good. In fact, if anything, that was more planted than these cars have been, and that's not got any all-wheel drive assistance anywhere, so There we go, because I carefully does it. I can't... So the problem with this method is I can't actually really use... I don't trust trying to suddenly dump more power out of the rear around places like this in the sort of gear that I'm in. I mean, it's... Don't get me wrong, this is not a bad driving car if we kind of ignore the potential all-wheel drive not really being consistent. It's actually doing pretty well around the corners, and braking, it's nice. It's slowed down very well into these turns, but I can't then boot it out of here like I have done with some cars. Certainly not like you can with the Evo Time Attack car. Oh, where am I actually going to do? I guess we've got kind of the main straight. We will hopefully have built up enough hybrid. We'll have the straight that's coming up. We can burn some, but yeah, I just can't. We can't get away with using it here. We'll just spin the wheels and thus risk spinning the car. It's fine. Say it's fine. Yeah, a little bit nervous about this one. Doesn't seem too bad if I clobber the curbs. It seems alright with me bouncing my way across those curbs. Using plenty of track. Second gear's still a little dicey. Third gear, not quite full throttle. Not early on in third gear. By the end of third gear, we will be. We can... Oh, do I dare be flat? I think I trust the rear of this car a little bit more than the Porsche. The Porsche moved around quite a lot, though. I'm not going to trust it putting boost down while going around there. It sounds very weird with the boost kicking in. It sounds very weird with the hybrid bit kicking in. How fast can I throw it through there? I probably got away with a little bit more speed, but it's all about, yeah, how much can you get away with? How much dare you risk in these conditions? That was risky right there. That was very risky. Oh, a lot of speed into here again. That's where we bumped the wall with the Porsche. Oh, and then some oversteer. Caught it, and we didn't bump the wall with this, and now we build up that boost once more. I don't know what other points aside from the main straight we're really going to have it to use. Into the carousel we go. I mean, I think we're looking pretty good in terms of lap time. Really, I probably should have a rough estimate as to what lap time. Like, driving in these conditions is very difficult to keep track of anything. I'm kind of commentating on autopilot a little bit because, well, this is requires a lot of concentration. Just about everything I've driven around here has had things that you've had to worry about quite a lot with, and this is no exception. It's not the most unstable car I ever have driven. It's not like the Sierra with its on-off switch throttle, or the Capri that was constantly on edge, or the drift car that, well, didn't go in a straight line when it got to straights. But when you're trying to go as quick as this, well, I say as quick as this, when you're trying to get a car like this that is a brilliantly fast race car around a track in these conditions, it's not easy. Oh, that downhill braking zone. I am pushing my luck quite a lot in some of these braking zones. I do have to say, feels like I've got more confidence in the brakes of this car than I've had in quite a few vehicles, which is actually quite nice. Even with the Porsche, I wasn't really massively confident with it slowing down and not having a big lockup somewhere. Just didn't have that belief in the car. Whereas in this, yeah, it feels a little better. Now, whether that's going to translate into lap time or not, very hard to tell. Oh, God. This corner in the dry is great fun. On the snow, on the ice, it's kind of terrifying. Again, you can see the back of the car, and that's why I cannot touch that KERS button, or electrical energy, whatever it's called in this. I just can't do it, not at these speeds, not at this condition, because even without the sudden dumping of power, we are quite a lot on edge here. Yeah, it has got very, very good grip through these corners. I'm throwing it in with a bit more speed than I would perhaps be expecting to get away with in some cases, and it grips and grips and grips. Now, we have bobbled our way out of the mini carousel a little bit too awkwardly. We got away with it, though. Okay, we're going to have a good run down this straight. I'm not sure we've done enough to overcome the Porsche. I mean, the Porsche was skiddy, it slid around, but it did get out of some of the slower corners well. Here we go. Use all of that electrical energy for one last blast. I don't know if I'm better off using it now or using it at the top end. We'll just use it to get up to 180 miles an hour. As the resistance, of course, of the snow tyres will Probably should have saved it until we started going uphill, but we got to the 184 mile an hour mark early, I guess. I think it'll all it'll all work out. Now, don't hit the curb. We saw what happened with the Capri when things went a little bit awry there. Believe that we will have grip through here. Just a few more corners to go. This is where things can get a little bit sketchy as you're pushing it for time, as you're trying to get that lap speed. We're on the curb, we're sideways in the Toyota. No, don't do it, car. Don't do it, car. Oh, big slides. It's not done it. It's not beaten the Porsche at 8-minute 1.5. I couldn't. I was wanting to be able to get on the boost. I was wanting to be able to get on that Kers. I just can't do it out of that final corner. That was me. Well, I was a little bit aggressive. It wiggled and slid its way to the finish line. I think that was at the limit. That was at the limit for certainly for a first flying lap for the car. It's not done it. The Toyota cannot beat Porsche, even at the snowy Le Mans. It will go second. It will go second. It does beat the Time Attack Evo by, well, just under half a second. It's, well, a second and a half off the Porsche. The Kers system in this car, if it made it all-wheel drive in a much safer way, now that we've actually finished, I can show you probably a little bit better. So we're in first gear coming out of these hairpins, and we will press the button, and that's not a normal nice all-wheel drive thing that it's doing there. If we go out of this one here as well, I don't know how the all-wheel drive system works, because this really does not feel like it is an all-wheel drive car. See, it's definitely got rear-wheel drive power there, so we're in second gear, and even with it on boost, it's still just going to spin the wheels. So that's a little bit strange. And yeah, if that Kers system worked in the same way that the Porsche did, I think it would win. I think I prefer this car ever so slightly to drive. I think it's a little bit more stable. I had more confidence in the brakes and more confidence in it through the corners. However, some of the slow bits we couldn't really put the power down in the same way, and I just couldn't use the boost throughout the lap in the same way that you could with the Porsche, because I didn't have the traction to. It's going to be a second place. Great fun car to drive. Great fun car to drive around this circuit. Even in these conditions, it was a good car to drive, but Toyota will once again come second to a Porsche. Hope that doesn't bode so badly for them when it comes to Le Mans. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.